No, this just goes to show that this deck is pretty legitimate. It can win against legitimate decks. It is budget friendly, only 4 rare wildcards, but it is really fucking strong. Hello everyone and welcome, I'm Lenny and you're watching Lenny TV. Today we have an amazing cycle list, and yes, it is competitive, and yes, it only has 4 rare wildcards, and you can even make a strong argument to cutting one of the rares that I use to build this deck. It is a rare Shockland, and I don't think you really need that, so it's realistically a free rare deck. And I think for only running 3 rare cards, this should be the strongest list there is. If you have some other really budget and strong decks, please share them down below so that people have some selection, I guess. But I think this is by far the strongest budget deck there is, and it is a blast to play. It's actually pretty fun. So I was tinkering around this deck idea for quite some time. But Dimir for Life came in again for the clutch save, and we built this deck together. And man, I have to say, he is a really strong deck builder, and together we have built a really awesome cycling list. If you don't remember Dimir for Life, he was already once featured on this channel. He built a crazy 2-lane Storm deck. If you have missed that, check it out. I will leave a notification in the top right now. But yeah. This deck is really fun, and it is really budget, and it is really strong. I'm gonna try to show that to you today. Actually, won 3 games today and only lost 1 with this really budget deck on the ladder in gold. I mean, yeah, you might say you're in gold, it doesn't count, you're not mythic, but I would say no, it does count. Because we are playing against legit decks, you know? We are playing against Rakdos Sacrifice with way more rare cards. We were playing against Fires lists, and the deck just smashes them. Like, not completely, you are of course dependent on really playing the deck well and some luck in the draws, but that's for all the decks. And for this being such a budget deck, this list is performing really well. So before we jump into the deck explanation, as always, please make sure to make this gap disappear, man. It's so close already. Just smash the subscribe. Just help me out. This little tiny gap up there has to be filled with only subscribers. So we are hitting 500 now, and that will also trigger my giveaway. If I reach 500 subs, I'm going to give away some FNM card styles. So if you have missed that video, I'm going to link it right there as well. Check it out if you want to win it. Please follow the instructions I have left on in the video. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the deck explanation. Alright everyone, we're in the deck builder and let's get right to it. I won't talk too much about this one. Realistically, all of these cards, like this entire row, you don't want to cast them, you want to cycle them. Almost all of the time. I'm gonna talk about a few nuances really quickly here. If you can win, if you can haste like this dinosaur into the opponent's face, please go ahead, drop the crater, play this, haste it, and kill him. Of course you want to play it in that circumstance. And if you can fight something really good off the opponent's board with Go for Blood, then please go ahead and do that. If you cannot, however, do those things, you should really cycle all of these cards, like 90 to 95% of the time. That out of the way, there are 3 cards that there are some circumstances that you want to consider, and if those criteria are met, you want to cast them. Number 1, early in the game and you want to apply some pressure and you realize you can apply some pressure against the deck, drop the Fox, because the Fox, turn 1, transforms into a 3/3 on turn 2 if you cycle 2 things, and on turn 3 it can be like a 6/6 or a 7/7. That's a lot of power and that's a lot of pressure. So a legitimate use case for the Fox if you want to apply early pressure. Are you against an aggressive list and you realize they are going to kill you really quickly? If yes, if the answer is yes, you might want to consider dropping the healer and gaining a lot of life cycling cards. And scenario number 3, you are up against a slow deck and you want to turn up the ante and start pinging and dealing some damage, well, consider dropping the Stinger to increase your damage by a lot, because every time you cycle, you now deal a damage. So yeah, this is one of the rare wildcards we included here. Yeah, I think you should run it. It's a free inclusion, and that's pretty good. 2 Deafening Clarion, because you want to have some more longevity and sustaining power against aggressive lists. And Deafening Clarion is one of the best cards at giving you exactly that. And the last rare wildcard, which you could argue should be cut actually, because you really don't need it, is Sacred Foundry. I run it because I think it smooths out the gameplay just by 1% maybe. And if you have one, please run one. I don't think it's worth running more than that. Maybe you can try experiment with running 2, but I think 1 is just perfect. Like, it looks perfect to me. It's like beautiful, and this list performs really well. Of course, the game plan of the deck is to finish off opponents with Zenith Flare. Pretty simple strategy, right? You dump a lot of cycling cards into your graveyard, you cast this, point at their face and say, you are dead. And yeah, that's just how the deck plays as well. It's a lot of fun. We've played 4 games today, and we won 3 of them against legitimate decks on the official ladder. So this deck smacks. So don't underestimate this one. It is budget, but it is pretty strong, and I'm sure that you can reach platinum with this deck if you put in some grinding hours. And you don't even need to spend more than 3 wildcards, to be honest. You want to have the Fox and probably the 2 Deafening Clarions, but that's it. Otherwise, this deck is good to go right out of the box. So, oh, one notable thing, we only run 14 lands, and that's because this is more of a combo style deck. And one last thing, you want to cycle in the end step of your opponent if possible. If you can milk some additional effects off of cards that grant you some benefits when cycling, then you can consider breaking that rule of cycling at the last possible instance. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. Let's jump right into the gameplay, and the games today are awesome. Stay tuned to see that this deck actually is legitimate and can beat up some Fires lists, Rakdos Sacrifice, you name it. This deck is not to be underestimated. So let's jump right into the games. Alright, our first one is Alfred Dom playing with Garruk. I really like this hand. We have 3 lands, which is a little bit high for this deck, but we have 1 Zenith Flare and a Stinger in hand, alongside 2 cycling cards. So let's keep this one and let's see what my opponent is playing. Obviously he's playing Obosh, so this could be a Luca deck. Or something aggro-ish. I expect it to be quite an aggro deck. So with that knowledge, I think we should drop this into play tapped first, followed up by Plains and the Stinger, and then we drop another Plains into cycling our stuff. So that looks like a pretty good curve to me. Oh, while we are waiting for our opponent, did you know that you can make this little cat sneeze? Hopefully I can manage to do it here. So if you click the tail, he's like playing with you, which is awesome. But then you can... Oh, no. Now he does the backflip, but if you tap his nose or something... Yeah, now he will sneeze! Look at this. How awesome is that pet, man? Alright, now he will... Oh! So our opponent is done with thinking about his cards. And we will do exactly what we said. Sacred Foundry tapped. Into the Plains, into the Stinger, and then we will cycle away and try and deal some heavy damage to our opponent here. Hopefully he is not AFK, like completely AFK. No, he's here. Alright. So this is kind of a weird Rakdos Sacrifice Obosh list, I guess. So let's drop the Stinger here. And yeah, starting from our next turn, we will cycle the development first. And then the Ventosaurus. Ventosaur. How do you pronounce that? Ventosaur. Alright, Witch's Oven, which is a really strong card. Alright. So we could also drop Zerda here. That could be the right play here. Because then after that we have like the possibility of full cycling. And we have 4 mana to do so. You could argue. I think this might be the right play here. So let's drop the Fox here. And also... oh no, attacking here doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because you can just declare the Stinger as blocked, sacrifice the cat, replay the cat, and all we did is lose life. But he will do that anyway, right? He will sacrifice the cat anyway, so we could gamble on him misplaying here. So let's try that. So if he doesn't declare the blocker here and then starts the sacrificial play here. So yeah, this was 2 free damage, I guess, because he could have declared the blocker and now we have gained a small but noticeable advantage here. He should have really declared the blocker, then sacrificed the cat. That way he would have prevented the attack from the Stinger and also would have done damage to us. So he would be at 23 life, which is a really noticeable difference, actually. Alright, the cat will re-enter now. And he's at 20 life. Alright, we have 2 threats on the board. I really want him to focus on the Firefox here. Because we really only want the Stinger on the field. And then starting from next turn we will cycle away the cards that we have in our hand. And to get our engine like really going. Because as soon as you start cycling, this deck gets going, man. It really does. So doing this in his turn is also a misplay. I mean, just for your information, because he can... as last turn, declare a blocker and then sacrifice. Still get the benefits from the Midnight Reaper. And even if he's afraid of removal, he can do this what he has done right now at instant speed. So that's not a real reason to do it in his turn also. So we have 4 cycling cards, which is really good. He cannot sacrifice this with the oven now. So I don't know. I'm tempted to double attack here and see what he does. If he blocks my Stinger with the Midnight Reaper, that's a fine trade. I mean, he will trade the 3-2. He doesn't do that though. He will lose the cat, he will not have a food, and we will deal 2 damage here. Of course he will draw another card, but he will also take a damage, which is really beneficial to us, because all we want is to get him low for the Zeniflare here. And this way we have quite a lot of cycling in his end step going on. Or at instant speed if he tries to remove the Stinger. Alright, Gather Bones does nothing. Knight of the Even Legion does nothing as well. So that means, I guess, we still have both of our creatures. I was afraid of the Mayhem Devil coming down. But there is no Mayhem Devil for our opponent. He will play a lot of creatures though, so this is starting to look scary here. And he will again do this in his turn, which is... I mean, I guess you won't block with the Knight of the Even Legion anyways. But this is not ideal. This is not how you want to do this normally. Alright, he is able to drop the cat again. He will sacrifice the food now to re-enter the cat, which is fine. So we are down to 16 life. Also, he should attack here, yeah, because he won't really block with the Midnight Reaper anyways. And the Knight of the Evil Legion buffs itself up. Quite a powerful turn, to be honest. Let's start cycling the cards that we cannot cast because we don't have the colors anyways. And we will start poking his life total down with the Stinger. Alright, another card we cannot cast, so let's cycle that away. And we will draw another card we cannot cast with the colors. We will cycle that away as well. Alright, we find the land for our next turn, and we will cycle away the Wish Giver as well. So he's down to 13, just like we are. And we find the Deafening Clarion Man. We are so lucky. Alright, so we have a few options here, but I think the strongest option is to attack with both of these, then cast the Clarion. Yeah, we can cycle at instant speed. So we should get some more value of the Stinger as long as we can. So what we will do here is actually cycle 2 cards right now, because we want to milk. No, actually Go for Blood is worse here because we will not have any creatures left to activate it with. So we have milked the most value out of the Stinger now, and we will let this attack resolve. He will ping himself even, which is really good for us. And then we will cast Deafening Clarion and get rid of everything. That means he will ping himself for 3 more damage, and that means he's in range of dying because of our Zenith Flare. And now he is in a lot of trouble. And again, we are playing this really budget deck against a pretty... I mean, yeah, this is not the most competitive Rakdos list I've seen, but it for sure has more than 4 rares in it, so... Considering that, this deck is actually really good. Alright, Obosh coming down. But Obosh will do nothing, and we have won our first game. Yeah, so let's see Zenith Flare in his face and win the game. First game in our pocket. Just like that. We are back to 20, he's dead, and first game won. Bam. Alright, our next opponent is ML, playing as Nissa. Let's see here. We have 2 lands, which is basically all we need. And we have a lot of cards that cycle away, so we will keep this hand. He's also playing Obosh. What is the chance of that? Like, I'm really curious. 2 Obosh decks in a row. Is there something... Did I miss something? Is Obosh like the new best companion? All of a sudden? Alright, he will scry on his first turn, which is good. That buys us some time, so no really aggressive start for him. On his end step, we will cycle away cards that we cannot cast first. Alright. So now we will drop a second Plains and pass the turn back to him. We will start cycling away cards that we don't have the color for. Another scry for him. Alright, he has a really slow turn, which might give us a chance in this game. He keeps it on top, that's not what we want to see, and he drops a Scorpion. Alright. So at his end step we will cycle away the startling development first. And then we will cycle away the Frostwheel Ambush as well. Oh, that's really good. We find a mountain and another land drop for our next turn. Alright, we will drop the healer here, because I think in this match the gained life will really matter. So we put a stop at his end step. We have the land for next turn. We start cycling away here. Ooh, Judith. What a scary card. We will take the 2 damage here. That's fine. We will not block this because we want to gain more life with the healer here. And now before our turn starts, we will cycle away 1 memory leak, gain a life. Just like that. We find another mountain. That's not too good for us. Ooh, but we find a Deafening Clarion. And that is really good. So before we wipe the board here, I think we attack. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he won't block that. We don't actually need to use the Deafening Clarion now. We can also just go for blood and let the healer fight Judith. So I think that's quite a good strategy actually. So we will cycle 2 cards away to gain the most amount of life here before we actually go for blood. Oh, we find a stinger. Alright, now we will go for blood and fight Judith off the battlefield. This way we take a damage, but Judith is gone. And that's quite a big relief. We gained a lot of health off the healer. Our hand is not looking too good because we have 2 planes in our hand. But if he floods the board now, we can Deafening Clarion. And then even develop a Stinger afterwards for our next turn. And if he... I don't know. Let's see what he does here. I mean, he needs to play something. Witch's Oven. Alright. So I'm expecting more creatures here. Yeah, he brings back Judith. Alright. And we will take 2 of the Scorpion. So, I think the turn here is to wipe the board, because next turn he will drop the Obosh, and these do insane amount of damage. So we have to clear this battlefield to reduce the value he would get from Obosh. Yeah, he can sacrifice in response, but I think that's fine. We will have something developed on the battlefield, and he will have maybe only Obosh on the battlefield. So yeah, we will go down to 14. And we will also drop the Stinger on the battlefield. I think we need to start chaining into more and more cycle cards. And the only thing we don't want is another land. And the probability of drawing a land is pretty low, because we only run 14 in the deck. So claim the Firstborn on the Stinger. That hurts. That hurts real bad. Because he will also sacrifice that and draw a card for himself. Yeah, that's really bad for us. And now we hopefully draw more cards that we can cycle. We will drop the Fox, because the Fox is basically a free inclusion in this deck. And then we will try and cycle away through his turn. Claim the Firstborn is a really strong card, man. Alright, Luro's coming down, of course. That is a little bit expected here. And he will try to set up a killer Obosh turn. So Scorpion is on the battlefield. He will pass to attackers. Let's see here. Alright, he wants to attack with the Midnight Reaper. I think we just trade that. trade that off. Is he going to sacrifice the Scorpion just to draw an extra card? I mean, yeah, he will do that. Alright. So we will trade here. He will draw another card. He's sadly gained pretty... He has gained a lot of life back, so he's back up to 17. Alright, will be hard to kill this opponent, I guess. And we need to find the Zenith Flare anyway. We have a lot of cycling cards in our graveyard already. But we need to draw the Zenith Flare anyway, so... 42 to 43. Alright, let's start cycling in his end step. Let's resolve that. Let's cycle this away. I want the Zenith Flare now. Alright, we should have cycled the Memory Leak away. Oh, there is a Zenith Flare. So that's really good. Let's pass. So this is... We have 6 mana, so we can cast... We can cycle both of these and cast the Zenith Flare. So that will be 14 damage, and we will heal for 14. So let's see what he does here, what he decides to do here. Judith. Alright. Judith will buff up the kitty. And he will attack here. Of course he will gain 4 lives. This doesn't matter at all, because with 14 we can two-shot him if we draw a second Zenith Flare anyways, so... Hopefully we draw a second Flare. We almost forgot to stop there. Ooh, Mayhem Devil is a really scary card. Alright, so he is passing the turn. We will cycle away 1 Memory Leak here. We find the plains, that's pretty bad. We cycle away another Memory Leak. We find another cycle card. Right, and then we will Zenith Flare before it is too late and he can just kill us at instant speed because of the devil. So we are back up to 20 and he's down to 7. That's pretty good. That is really good. So, I think we have to find the Zenith Flare. And I would rather find the Flare in my turn to maybe end it right now. So let's try that. Let's cycle this away. And let's try and find another Zenith Flare. That's not a Zenith Flare. That is not a Zenith Flare. And this is our last chance. And we find double lands. Alright, so he will have some chance of winning here actually. And maybe we are dead. I've tried to maximize my win percentage here. But I think yeah, we just messed up. Even if I played the Stinger and pinged 2 damage, that would not have helped me win the game. So Obosh ends the game here. But we put up a good fight, and if we would have found another Zenith Flare here, we would have won this game. So pretty close. And I'm really impressed with the cycling deck here. Alright, our next opponent is Yemen. He's playing with Domri. And let's see here. I wish I would have a 2-lander for my starting hand. The question is, do we keep this and we are really greedy? Or do we not keep it and try to get 2 lands? I mean, I think you really want 2 at least. So yeah, this is perfect. Like, we will keep this and we will toss away the mountain here. So this way we have 2, both of our colors, both of the colors we need, and we will pass a turn. Now we want to scout what our opponent is playing. Alright, so Izzet Scryland first. Which decks are playing the Izzet Scrylands? I mean, it doesn't really matter. In this game I want to drop the Stinger and try to do some damage with the cycling and get some value from it. We might be up against... Oh! Rielle! This is a Rielle deck, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and we find a third land. That's not too shabby, actually. And I want to get down the Firefox here. Smack for 2. I mean, this is just a free attacker on the next turn, depending on what he does. And also, we can cycle better next turn. With... Oh, and he mixed in the Phoenixes as well. Alright. So... Will the perfect pet be a problem? I don't think so. He will shock away the Stinger probably. Yep, he will. And now I'm not too sure. Maybe the pet will be the problem here. Alright, anyways, we can cycle 3 times. We lost our damage here. So we can wipe the board now. But then if Rielle comes or the Phoenixes, we are pretty much dead. Because we cannot wipe the board from that point on. So... I don't know what is the right decision here. Is it the right decision to wait with the board wipe? He will revive at least 1 Phoenix, right? I think we wait here. I don't know if this is the right call. Maybe this was the misplay that cost me the game. But we will be smarter after this game. Alright, opt. So the chances of him reviving a Phoenix are really high. If he starts with an opt. And also the pet will deal at least 5 damage. I expect at least 5 damage from the pet. And if he revives the Phoenix, that would be 8. So we are down to 8 life. At least. And if he has a shock... Oh, so he only casted 1. So no Phoenix, only 4 damage. That's quite alright, I would say. Alright, so... Does he evolve the board anymore? No. Alright, let's cycle the healer here. Sorry. Healer will be cycled here. And of course the dinosaur as well. Alright, he will remove the fox for some reason. Which is alright, I think. We don't really need the fox. Would have been nice though. Alright. So we are up to 4 mana. This is now not killable with the Clarion. And might prove to be a real problem. We can cycle away 3 cards though, so it's maybe not too bad. Depending on if he can cast 3 spells now, we might be dead. So that's 1. I should have killed the pet. It's now dawning on me that the pet could be a real problem here. We cannot really do anything against this hit. And yeah, we will start cycling away our cards here. Should have started off with the blue one here, so that's a small misplay on my part. Alright. So let's cycle away 4 cards here. We find the land as well. That's pretty decent. So we can drop the land and pass the turn. The fox will not be useful for attacking. So what he needs to do is he needs to force me to Zenith Flare this before attacking. I mean, we can wait for attackers being declared, I guess. So what will he do here? He should really just go to attackers and try and smack me. I guess he wants to play more or longer. He doesn't want to quite end it here. Alright, so now he is trying to move to attackers. So yeah, this is the right play. We will try to like distract him with this one cycle here. Maybe he reacts to it. He didn't react to it. And now we have to do a Zenith Flare on the perfect pet. Otherwise we're dead. It resolves though, and we're back up to 15. Just like he is. The thing is, we can not develop anything. I mean, we're hoping that, yeah, there is Rielle. I was expecting that to drop earlier, to be honest. I'm gonna wipe Rielle right now, because Rielle is really good. Like, I know that this might seem like an overreaction, but I've played a Rielle deck before, and Rielle is enabling like a whole genre of cards to be like 3 times as good with her in the battlefield. So she has to go, even though, yeah, it's maybe seemed like an overreaction. Alright, so for example, this card is one of the cards that gets like exponentially better with Rielle. We are looking mighty fine here. He might revive 1 Phoenix or 2 Phoenixes. So that's a lot of damage, that's 6 damage. But I guess he didn't find a third 1 mana spell, which is really, really good for us. So let's cycle away these cards. Just like that. Awesome. Now it's our turn again. And we will pass. So these will be the first ones to cycle. Then the dinosaur and then the Go for Blood. It's looking quite alright for us here. If he manages to revive 2 Phoenixes now, we are in some trouble. Or under some pressure, we should say, and then we have to cycle away everything here. We could have cycled these in our turn to try and hit our land drop, but I don't think that's necessarily worth it. Finale of Promise. So this will revive the Phoenixes, right? So in that case, we want to cycle now to see if we can find a removal spell. Or a Zenith Flare. We couldn't. Alright, then let's resolve this. He will shock my face. So that's already 8 damage then. Luckily he didn't discard a Phoenix. So yeah, we are down to 7 damage will be hitting us, so we're down to 5 life? Is that right? No, that doesn't sound right. No, it's 6. So yeah, let's cycle this before it's our turn. We need to find the Zenith Flare! But there it is! We will cycle one more. We find the Zenith Flare. And now we can say goodbye. Oh my god. Casting Zenith Flare for Leaper when he is on 16 life, that's pretty awesome. Alright, our next opponent is Nelson. Nelson playing with Jace. And this is looking like a really greedy hand. But we have a Fox on turn 1. And the Fox is really strong. And I'm just gonna try it. I think you have already seen how this deck is working. And that it can work. And it is a pretty strong list, even though it's really budget. So for this last one, we're going to try and have some fun and be really greedy. So let's keep it. The Fox on turn 1 can grow really strong. And the artwork is really cute. So hopefully next turn we find another land. If we find another land, we're going to drop another Fox and then cycle something hit for 2 damage. And then my opponent is in some serious trouble. If we don't find a land, we're going to cycle away the development, try to hit another land, and then develop another Fox, I think. Yeah, I don't know what to expect here. He will Bone Crush a Giant, the Fox. We find a land. Man, our turn would have been so good. Let's develop another Fox and pass the turn. Man, we would have destroyed this guy if he wouldn't have dealt with the Fox. The Fairy, of course. We don't need to cycle now, because cycling is not something that we cast. So we can just let it resolve. Make him bounce this. And then we can cycle something in our end step. Alright, we will cycle this away. Draw a Sacred Foundry, which is pretty good. Yeah, and a mountain, so we won't need to... I mean, he will drop the fires and apply a lot of pressure here, so to have at least somewhat of a chance, we need to apply some pressure here. We only have 2 cycling cards, so that's not really good. Developing the Fox is a pretty alright option here, I think. Starting the crazy cycling turn in our next turn could be good enough. I'm expecting fires here into a 4-drop. Alright, so only the Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, I think having the 4th land here untapped is pretty worth it. So now we have 4 cycling cards, including if we cycle the Fox. He wants to protect his Teferi. The question is, if we, I mean, developing the Fox could be still worth it in theory, because it can grow a 4/4. So I will develop the Fox and try to hit the Fairy here. I'm guessing he will block here, but that's alright. We'll have the 1/1. And in his end step we will cycle away these 3. I'm really lucky that he has no fires in his hand. That might make this game a little bit easier. Alright. Does he want to pass his turn? Yeah, he wants to pass his turn. Alright, so we will cycle away the healer here. Yeah, we will resolve that. We'll cycle away the Crater here as well. He can now Bone Crusher Giant the Fox. He doesn't have the Bone Crusher though, so good on us. And we will cycle away 1, go for the blood. Now the Fox is a 4/4, and we developed a valuable threat. Sorry. So he could have some instant speed interaction here, so I don't want to overinvest before I know that it can actually go through. The attack can actually go through. So let's try and kill off the Fairy here, because the Fairy can just bounce it in his next turn. The Fairy is down, and we will just pass. Drawn from Dreams at instant speed. That is really scary, actually. Alright. So, Drawn from Dreams will find, I guess, Fires and a Cavalier, if he is lucky. So, I'm expecting Fires now and a Cavalier. Yep. Fully expected that. No, he drops a Teferi here. I think that's fine. The Fox has done some work. Alright, he will bounce the Fox. And he will play a Scryland. So he wants to go off next turn. Alright, we will have to cycle away. Go for blood here. We find the land. We cycle away another one because we don't have any creatures to fight with. And we will cycle away the blue cards because we don't have the mana to actually play them. And this ambush as well. Alright, now it's our turn again. We will of course drop the land and the Stinger here. I'm expecting some hasted Cavaliers, so I think having some cards as blockers is really valuable. I would even go so far as to say we maybe should develop the Fox as well, just to have 2 blockers. If they die, we are having a stronger Zenith Flare anyway. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters if you cycle them or not. Oh, he will wipe the board first. Alright, so in that case, I will cycle now to get some pings off the Stinger. Just like that. And we will cycle this as well to get another ping. And that means he cannot heal in this turn, because you can either cast a Cavalier or we won the game. We won against the Fires list, like legitimate Fires list with this deck. He cannot interact with us in our turn because of Fires, and that's all that what he has done in his turn, and we can cast the Zenith Flare for 14 in our turn. So GG Nelson. You tried your best, but you didn't succeed. No, this just goes to show that this deck is pretty legitimate. It can win against legitimate decks. It is budget friendly. Only 4 rare wildcards, but it is really fucking strong. So let's go. Let's clean up this Fires list. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a really fun deck. And it is really budget, so go ahead, craft this list, play it, and I'm pretty sure you can at least climb to Platinum with this deck. And just like that, we won another game. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you're safe. Thanks for watching, thanks for smacking subscribe. We're almost at 500, man. Just look at the gap down there. It's almost so small that you cannot even see it anymore. So yeah. Smash the subscribe. Thanks for helping me out, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around, man. I'm having a blast brewing a lot of lists. And starting maybe in a week or so, I will try and climb. Probably next season. Starting next season, I will revisit my Road to Mythic series, where I will go more into the competitive side of things and try to reach Mythic with a number of different decks. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. Sorry, if you don't want to miss it, smash the subscribe. And yeah, without further ado, thanks for watching, and we'll see us in the next one.